So there's this quote that I just have to start with today. It's an exchange from the story-based English learning program we're looking at. Neha asks, John, have you ever kept a beautiful, expensive new notebook completely blank for months because you were waiting for the perfect, most poetic idea to write on the first page?
Oh, man. I feel attacked already. I literally have one of those notebooks in my desk drawer right now.
Right. It's so relatable. And John replies, we do the exact same thing with our lives. We put our dreams on hold, waiting for some magical feeling of readiness that never actually arrives.
That is just, wow. It's such a painfully accurate metaphor. We buy these things with the best intentions, but then, the pressure of not ruining it turns it into a giant paperweight.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to this deep dive, everyone. Our mission today is to unpack that exact psychological trap behind the blank notebook.
And we're using this really fascinating English learning material as our guide. It's geared toward B1 and B2 learners, which is cool because the language is accessible, but the concepts are incredibly deep.
They really are. So we're going to explore this concept of analysis paralysis and uncover why waiting to feel 100% prepared is, well, it's actually just a defense mechanism against failure.
A very clever defense mechanism, yeah.
For sure. And most importantly, we'll talk about how to finally break that cycle. Okay, let's unpack this, because this conversation is for anyone listening who has ever put their dreams on a someday shelf.
The someday shelf. I love that, and I hate how crowded mine is. But when you look at the actual psychology happening in our brains, it makes sense why it's so hard to take that first step.
Because we think we're being responsible, right?
Exactly. To our brains, waiting doesn't feel like procrastination. It feels like the safe, responsible choice. Because our brains are essentially just prediction machines trying to keep us alive.
Right. And they absolutely hate uncertainty.
They despise it. So we trick ourselves. We tell ourselves that reading 50 more grammar videos is productive.
Or color coding our study plans. I do that one all the time.
Oh, the color coding is a classic. Or organizing your desk for the 4th time this week. You feel like you're doing the work.
But you're just hovering around it.
Exactly. The source material uses this brilliant metaphor. It calls this endless preparation a polite hiding place.
Well, a polite hiding place.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it says it's just fear wearing a very professional jacket.
Fear wearing a professional jacket. That is so good because it looks so productive on the outside. You look busy, your spreadsheets are immaculate, and nobody can accuse you of being lazy.
Not even yourself. But inside that waiting room, you're entirely protected from judgment. If you never speak up, you never make a mistake.
Which means no one can judge you.
Right. If you never launch the project can't fail. Your brain is just whispering, hey, we're not hiding, we're just getting properly equipped for the journey.
That reminds me of the story from the material about the student in the corporate environment.
Oh yeah, the one who stayed silent in meetings.
Right. She was incredibly smart, understood absolutely everything in these complex strategy meetings, but she didn't say a word. Week after week, just silent.
And when they finally asked her why, what did she say?
She said she was waiting until she could speak English perfectly.
It's heartbreaking, really.
Yeah.
Because that goalpost of perfect, it's a mirage. It's always moving. She was using grammar study as a shield to avoid the vulnerability of actually communicating.
But, okay, let me push back on this a little bit.
Sure, go for it.
So what does this all mean? Are we saying preparation itself is a waste of time? Because if I jump into a presentation completely unprepared, I'm gonna bomb.
Right, you'll crash and burn.
Yeah, and that public failure will just traumatize me and reinforce the fear. It's like reading 100 manuals on how to ride a bicycle but refusing to actually sit on the seat because you're terrified of scraping your knee.
I love that analogy. You can study the physics of balance until you have a PhD, but if you don't get on a bike, it's useless.
Right, the knowledge is dead weight.
And to answer your question, no, preparation isn't a waste of time. It has a real baseline utility.
Right.
You need basic vocabulary to speak. But the pathology begins when preparation stops being a tool and becomes a replacement for the action itself.
Ah, I see. So analysis paralysis is endlessly polishing the tool so you never have to actually build anything.
Exactly. So a question for you, the listener, right now. How many more months will ready take for you? What goals or conversations are you hiding from, wrapped in that professional jacket of preparation?
Oof, that is a heavy question to sit with. But, this material uses a story-based framework, and it deliberately contextualizes the vocabulary for this. Giving a name to a fear actually strips away its power, doesn't it?
It really does. It's a psychological process called affect labeling. When you name an emotion, you calm down the amygdala, the fear center, and activate the logic center of your brain.
So naming the trap is the first step out of it. Let's do a little word tour then, because the 4 target vocabulary words in the source map this out perfectly.
Let's do it.
The first one is being hesitant. We all know this one. It's that nervous reluctance to take the first step, like hovering your mouse over a publish button.
Or getting a dry mount before raising your hand. What's fascinating here is that being hesitant is natural. It's a healthy pause to assess risk. But the danger is when that pause stretches out and becomes the second word, analysis paralysis.
The ultimate trap.
Completely. It's overthinking a situation so intensely that your brain just freezes. You map out every variable, every mistake, and zero action is taken.
And what drives that? That brings us to the third word, imposter syndrome.
Oh, the dark engine behind it all.
Exactly. It's that secret fear that you're a fraud, that you aren't qualified enough to start and that everyone else has it figured out. You over-prepare because you're running away from feeling like an imposter.
It's such a vicious cycle. Hesitation turns into analysis paralysis, fueled by imposter syndrome. And the cure, the fourth concept, is a leap of faith.
Just jumping into the unknown without the safety net?
Right. It's the willingness to act despite the hesitation, despite the imposter syndrome.
Jumping off the high dive even when you haven't calculated the exact water temperature. You just trust gravity.
It's a beautiful arc of human psychology in just 4 words.
Yeah.
But, understanding it intellectually is very different from actually doing it.
Yeah, and that brings up the biggest challenge. If analysis paralysis is a cognitive trap, we can't just think our way out of it.
If thinking more was the solution, we'd all be supremely confident by now.
Right. So how do we bridge that gap?
Well, we have to embrace a massive shift that goes against everything society teaches us. We're told confidence is a prerequisite for action. Build confidence, then apply for the job. Build confidence, then speak the language.
Like confidence is the fuel for the engine.
Exactly.
Right.
But the neurobiological reality is the opposite.
Oh.
Confidence comes after action.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because we treat confidence like it's a software update we're waiting to download from the cloud before we can open the app.
Yes.
But it's actually a muscle, right? You can only build it by lifting the weights of small, imperfect actions.
That is a perfect way to look at it. The brain's confidence center works like a machine learning algorithm. An algorithm is useless without training data.
It needs input.
Right. Your amygdala doesn't speak English.
Yeah.
You can't sit in an armchair, repeat positive affirmations, and trick it into feeling confident. It needs hard evidence.
So I have to go out and generate my own training data. I have to gather evidence.
Yes, by taking small physical risks. For that student in the meeting, gathering evidence wouldn't be giving a flawless hour-long speech. It would be saying one imperfect sentence.
Or recording a messy 20-second voice note instead of an email.
Exactly. And when you do that, your brain observes reality. It sees that nobody laughed, you weren't fired, the ceiling didn't collapse.
The threat response dials down.
Because you proved you're safe. The source beautifully puts it. Motion brings emotion. The physical motion generates the feeling of confidence.
Wow. So every time you wait to feel ready, you're feeding your brain the wrong data.
You're telling your nervous system, this is too dangerous, we have to hide. You reinforce the fear. And honestly, you're breaking a promise to yourself. You erode your own self-trust.
That is heavy. So you have to let your actions lead and let the feelings catch up later. But, and this is the big, taking that leap of faith is terrifying. How do we force ourselves to act?
By making the action comically small. You had to sneak past your brain's threat radar. Perfectionism is the enemy here. It demands flawless execution, which triggers imposter syndrome immediately.
So we have to embrace the messy start.
The messy start is everything. A messy start today is mathematically 100 times better than a perfect one day that never happens.
Because a perfect one day only exists in your imagination.
Exactly. The source uses this swimming analogy. You don't learn to swim by sitting on a chair next to the pool, reading a book about fluid dynamics.
You have to get in the water.
And you're probably going to splash around and swallow a little pool water first. That ungraceful splashing is a biological prerequisite for learning.
And to help you get into that water without a panic attack, the source provides a practical template. The 10-minute rule.
I love this rule.
Me too. Because if you promise yourself 2 hours of language study, your brain freaks out. It's too big.
It triggers analysis paralysis. Your brain screams, I can't do 2 hours of quality work. I need to read more manuals first.
But the 10-minute rule disarms the alarm. You commit to just 10 minutes. 10 minutes of stumbling through a language app. The brain cannot argue with 10 minutes.
It doesn't look like a tiger in the bushes. It just looks like a leaf. And once you start, momentum takes over.
Yeah.
Overcoming that initial inertia is the hardest part.
Right. Once the bike is moving, you just keep pedaling. You bypass the hesitation and start generating that evidence your brain needs. I love this because it's so empowering.
Yeah.
You don't need a 17-color cross-referenced master plan to be successful.
No, you really don't. You just need to trick your brain into a messy 10 minutes. It's a radical reframing.
So just to recap the journey we've gone on today, waiting for 100% readiness is just fear in a professional jacket.
Hiding in that polite waiting room.
Right. And confidence isn't a prerequisite. It's an emotion generated by the evidence of action. And the 10-minute rule is your tool for a messy, successful start.
Absolutely. Which really brings us all back to you, the listener.
Yes, you. Your future self is waiting for you to dig in. Stop polishing a sentence or an idea that doesn't even exist yet in the real world. Stop waiting for the perfect words for that blank notebook.
They won't arrive until you start writing. And as you think about taking that leap of faith, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over.
Go for it.
What if the mistakes you were so terrified of making on that very first messy page of your notebook are actually the exact lessons you need to write the rest of your story? What if your messy start isn't a mistake at all, but the most authentic version of your work?
Wow. That is a powerful paradigm shift to take with you. Thank you so much for investing your time in this deep dive with us.
Keep learning, trust the process, and take that messy step forward. Bye, everyone.